What's up, guys? Periscopers and YouTubers. I'm the Death Star guy. This is my initial broadcast, my first video. So, what I was actually going to talk about today was Rogue One. That's Star Wars' upcoming anthology film, I guess they're calling it. But before we get into that, I actually just got back from Disney World a couple weeks ago. Which is now, of course, the parent company of Lucasfilm and owner of Star Wars. So, I'm a regular attendee of Disney World. So now that they do produce all this cool Star Wars merchandise, I am now a collector of these awesome Star Wars collector packs, the Park Series. This is Park Series 17. I don't know which ones I had previously collected, but this one was Force Awakens only, from what I saw. So when I was in the parks, I hunted these down. I bought 4 of them. They come with 3 random minifigures, as you can see. Let's see if you can guys get a better view of that. It's kind of hard to tell. You can get Rey, Finn, Poe, Solo, Chewie, R2-D2, R2 or BB-8, sorry, Kylo Ren, basically anyone from Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens. So before we get into the discussion about Rogue One, this is my initial video. So I thought I'd do an unboxing or unpackaging, I guess you could call it. So without further ado. And the first one, which is, of course, the coolest character from Force Awakens, BB-8. Second, now, I do have a bunch of these from the previous films, and they actually have that Star Wars Rebels program, which I do watch. It's on Disney XD, I don't know if any of you guys watch it. Admiral Akbar. It's definitely a trap, by the way. Who's your favorite, BB-8 or Admiral Akbar? Now, I do have... Yeah, BB-8's awesome. I forget that guy's name. Sorry. He's one of the bounty hunters, or, he's in Maz Kanata's pub, or cantina, I know that. I do have the action figure, and his name slips my mind, but I do love his armor. He's got that awesome red helmet. And then, so that's the first pack. One down. I don't know if you guys... There was mixed reviews I know I've seen of Force Awakens. I personally liked it. I guess it bothered me a little bit that they kind of rehashed Episode 4, but you know what? It was, what, 13? So, or what was it? How many years since the last one? You didn't like it? Our next minifigure is the star of the show, who is Rey, in her Jakku outfit. Sometimes the art... Yeah, honestly, I think Rogue One is going to be better. I really do think so. I don't know why I think that, but I do. Just based on what I've seen. Because it's an original story. I mean, it's brand new. I think they were able to get a little bit more creative on this one. They, it's not like they... What am I trying to say here? They already knew that, or they already stated that the plans were stolen, but no one ever really knew how. Here's a repeat of that bounty hunter. And another repeat of Admiral Akbar, actually, which I hate because I want unique ones. This one is not wanting to stay up on his own. So that's the second pack. So yeah, I'm curious as to see what the actual story behind Jyn Erso is. Another female character introduced for Rogue One. And Mads Mikkelsen plays her father, who's supposed to be the engineer behind the Death Star. Then of course they have that whole band of rebels that steal the Death Star plans. So each of them has to have some kind of backstory. Here's Nian Num. He's a pilot in the Resistance, and he's also, I'm sorry. There we go. He's also Lando Calrissian's co-pilot in Return of the Jedi. So that's cool that they brought him back. He flew an X-Wing in Force Awakens. Let's see who we've got here. I need to consult the back of the package here. I'm not sure. Oh, I think this is supposed to be General Leia Organa, but I'm not certain about that. Sometimes it's hard to tell with these minifigures what they're actually supposed to be like, or who they're actually supposed to be. And then we have another Rey here. Yeah, the new X-Wings were pretty sweet. I mean, they kind of changed them a little bit for Force Awakens, but honestly, I was expecting something different. At least for Rogue One, they're introducing 2 new ships. There's the Rebel U-Wing, which looks like it has the engine thrusters of an X-Wing, but it's got a unique body shape. And then there's the TIE Striker, which has the body of a TIE Interceptor, so it's like the precursor to a TIE Interceptor, because those don't appear, I don't think they appear until Return of the Jedi. So that's pack number 3. We already have 3 repeats, which sucks, because these things aren't cheap. Looking for uniques. Here we go, we struck a little bit more uniques on the last one. But I am returning to Disney World in March, so I do plan on buying more. I hope they still have this park series then. Here is a First Order Flame Trooper. I know there's 3 different First Order troopers that you can collect, and that is one of them. I believe there's a First Order Stormtrooper, and the First Order Snow Trooper. I guess that would make sense, because those are really the only 3 troopers that appear in Force Awakens. Which I do like that they had variants in the Stormtroopers. Honestly, I'm glad. I'm a kind of a Disney fanatic. Well, okay, I shouldn't say kind of. I am a Disney fanatic. But I'm really happy to see what Disney's doing, because George Lucas, as much of a pioneer as he was kind of getting stale. I do have memorabilia of Darth Vader, but not with me, unfortunately. That would be in my... There's the Snow Trooper. Darth Vader is like the coolest villain ever. And he is going to make an appearance in Rogue One. So... And then lastly, here's Captain Phasma, which I just happened to order the action figure of her from the Force Awakens collection, which I didn't previously have. So, there's my unpackaging of my Walt Disney World Park Series minifigure collection. These were all Force Awakens characters. Unfortunately, I got a couple of repeats. Yeah, Captain Phasma is actually probably the coolest one, well, besides BB-8. Kevin Phasma is. I love the actress that plays Kevin Phasma. She's also on Game of Thrones. I don't know if you ever watched that. What's her name? I'm trying to think of it. Gwendolyn Christie, that's who it is. She's a British actress. She's very tall, so she fits the role of Captain Phasma pretty well. So it kind of gives her that menacing look. On top of that, there's the chrome armor that supposedly behind the scenes they say, yeah, it's actually episode 1. There's supposedly the Naboo ships, either the starfighters, the yellow ones, or the you're right, the episode 2 one, the flagship for Queen Amidala, which was also solid chrome. That's what they say the backstory behind her armor is, which I think is cool. I was too young when the original trilogy came out. As much as I love the original trilogy, I probably saw them first when I was 8 or 9 years old. But I loved them right away when I was, when I first saw them. But I grew up with the prequel trilogy. So, as much as people say they suck, which, now that I'm older and I've seen them, I'll admit, there's parts that just were just horrible about them, namely Jar Jar Binks. What else? The whole Gungan thing was just kind of messed up, I think. It was kind of a poor choice in terms of story, but I grew up with them and I loved them, especially like the whole pod racing thing. Although, a fun fact about the pod race, it's basically a recreation of Ben-Hur. If you ever watched the classic Ben-Hur, it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of the chariot race in Ben-Hur, which is kind of funny that most people wouldn't realize that, but it really is, down to the last detail. Even when Sebulba and Anakin lock up against, with one another. But anyways, when you kind of break down the prequel trilogy, it's all necessary. The whole Republic fall and all the politics are necessary to create the Empire. But, I think George Lucas was too caught up in making them CGI heavy rather than focusing on, the story. And one could argue that Hayden Christensen's acting was not the best. Probably true. And the young lad that played Anakin in episode 1, unfortunately was directed poorly, I think, by George Lucas. So his career kind of fell down after that, but other actors had better fortunes, namely Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman, who's gorgeous anyways. So, but her acting was a little subpar, I thought, in episode 2 anyways. So it is what it is. But now that Disney's taking hold of the Star Wars storyline, it's kind of interesting to see what will come of the Skywalker family. I mean, we just had Luke introduced at the very end. If Luke joined Vader, yeah, you know what? That's an interesting theory. It's possible, but I think Luke's the embodiment of good, so I don't see him ever turning to the dark side. I know I've heard many theories of Luke turning to the dark side. But based on what he was wearing at the end of Force Awakens, he was wearing all white. And that's very contradictory to what he was wearing in the end of Return of the Jedi, which he was wearing all black, but I don't think that George Lucas really put that much thought into what he was wearing or what the costume was supposed to mean. Because I know Anakin wore a lot of dark colors in the prequel trilogy, and that was supposed to symbolize his transition to the dark side. But back in the 70s, I don't think George Lucas really thought that much about it. So that's why I throw that kind of aside. And I do think that Kylo Ren's he actually wants to progress towards the dark side. Oh yeah, totally. Vader was having second thoughts about the dark side. That's why he destroyed the Emperor. So, I don't know. But Kylo Ren, for some reason, Kylo Ren, wants to join the dark side. So it's kind of the mirror image of Luke. Luke was trying to become a strong Jedi, whereas Kylo Ren chose the dark side. He killed Han Solo, and now he's gonna see what. That's why we need to find out who is Supreme Leader Snoke. So it's kind of interesting. We'll find out. Yeah, Kylo Ren is he's kind of a sissy right now. He's not dark enough. So we'll see where that character progresses. I do like Adam Driver. I think he's a good actor. So he just hasn't been given enough opportunity. Yeah, he did cry a little bit too much, and I noticed that right when I saw that movie. I was like, eh. I hope there's better lightsaber battles. Because my all-time favorite choreographed sword fight in any movie, doesn't matter, is Anakin versus Obi-Wan in Episode 3. I mean, that was choreographed to perfection. The other one that I really like is the sword fight in Troy between Hector and Achilles. That one's awesome too, but I digress. So, what I originally was going to talk about was Rogue One. I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers. It looks pretty... It's like the birth of the Empire. So it's like, we just saw, yeah, Maul and Qui-Gon, that was pretty cool too. Although, I feel like Liam Neeson wasn't as athletic enough to make that sword fight as good as it could have been. But Maul is still like the best Star Wars villain to date. And obviously people have different opinions, but Vader's pretty awesome too. Welcome if you're just joining us. We're having a discussion about Force Awakens and just starting to talk about Rogue One. So, Rogue One, the birth of, kind of the start of the Empire. Darth Vader does make an appearance according to the trailers. But I hope we see that he's just this absolute savage. Like, just completely 100% dark side, super violent. I hope that we get to see some lightsaber action, because, I mean, he really doesn't use it in the original trilogy. He fights Obi-Wan and he fights Luke, and that's about it. I mean, he's a younger version of himself in this movie, and, there's that one blind character who's supposed to be a Force wielder. He's not a Jedi, but he's a Force wielder, which kind of Disney evolved that whole concept of Force wielding characters, but not actual Jedi or Sith. Like Maz Kanata seemed to be a Force wielder or have some kind of connection to the Force. That's what this character is. And then there's another character that they brought to live action that was originally created in the Star Wars Clone Wars series, and that he's one of the Rebel band too. So you have this kind of random group of characters that are supposed to be stealing the plans of the Death Star, which let me say that this is probably the coolest planet they've ever made. This like beach setting, it's like a tropical planet. It's called Scarif, and so that allowed them to create these awesome beach troopers. I don't know if that's their official name. I know I'd seen that somewhere. But they have these incredible armor that's like beige. If you guys subscribe to my channel, I do have pretty much every collectible from... Oops, Admiral Akbar went down. From the Rogue One action figure line already, for their 3.75 collection. And I do have a good majority of the Black Series already, so that'll be another video I'll be posting shortly. So subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, and we will be having future discussions about Rogue One, more unboxing to come when I take my next trip to Disney World, and if you guys want to see something or have another discussion, I post to YouTube and have live Periscope chats simultaneously. So we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.